Welcome to Podcast Them Down. I'm Tim Regan from U.S. power metal band Burning Shadows, Fade to Black Metallica tribute, Dual-Violin folk metal band ISENMOR, and recently vacated Graves true zombie metal. Be sure to subscribe, like, or follow. And now, on with the show.
So a lot of this conversation, it has me thinking about, we've talked a lot so far about kind of the niche nature of folk metal in the U.S. and local folk metal bands,
right,
and whether or not there's a way to really get your name out there nowadays, like with Headbangers Ball. The one thing I wanted to bring up is Shadow Woods Metal Fest, because by all accounts, as far as I can tell, and I know we know the promoters, but I don't know them particularly well. But Shadow Woods seems to be one of those things that's quite successful. But if you look at it on paper, it's not super different, I think, from Pocono Folk Metal Fest. It's not like a super popular location. It's bands that are cool and they're awesome, but they're not like internationally renowned or anything like that.
You're making a lot of enemies in Havre de Grace, Maryland.
Oh, Bones. I'm sorry. But I remember, after hearing about the third Pocono Folk Metal Fest and hearing that it was like such a bad time for you, I was like, so what is it that Shadow Woods is doing?
It was a great time for me.
Yeah, I had a great time.
If that's any consolation.
Oh, and don't get me wrong, I had a blast too. It was just, because again, I didn't realize.
It just hurts. It just hurts when the bill comes in.
Yeah, right. Absolutely.
But I remember thinking of this, like, what is Shadow Woods doing that Pocono Folk Metal Fest isn't?
Yeah.
More shadows.
Right.
It's about
More
the same
woods.
amount of woods.
Now with 20% more woods.
Right.
I don't know. You know what? It's funny because I did talk to the promoter, of the show about that on some level. I actually wanted to have some kind of in my mind's eye, I had like an idea of having like a round table of people that do American festivals, metal festivals, and just to sit down and kind of, toss around ideas and suggestions on what works, what doesn't work, and stuff like that. But to your point, like that's a much more diverse festival in terms of musical styles. I mean, I'm just trying to, I remember looking at it and there was like 4 bands on. I was like, oh my God, those are 4 bands I would love to see. And then, there's other bands I'd never heard of, and other bands I'm like, wow, I'm kind of shocked that these bands were even on here. I would say that my festival to me is not a business venture at all. I mean, to me, this is just like a whim that turned into 3 festivals. I mean, it was really, I have no I have an operations background as far as my work and stuff is concerned, but I mean, it really was like a dream in January to, August, it happened, the first one. So it was like, I don't know I don't know what I'm doing for the most part, other than I'm pretty organized. And so why that festival works, it's probably, I think it's, because it's more of an experience when it's, you're out. I think, don't you get to stay in cabins and things like that, or you're camping or something?
I think it's a big camp out. And yeah, maybe it's I don't want to call it a gimmick because that sounds more derogatory than I intend for it.
Right.
Yeah, but it's, something that makes it like unique. I mean, that was something that for the second festival, I had a lead on like a campground, but it was going to be kind of way out of the way, like the northern part of Pennsylvania, and it was going to be a lot of money to get the campground. I could have gotten it for a whole weekend, but then the logistics of it, like that it's so far away from where I live, and to manage that and to, but I think that is what's great about Shadow Woods is that, it's it's kind of more diverse musically. It's more of an full weekend experience. I think they were doing like classes or some sort of yeah. I remember like reading some of the other things that were going on there. I don't want to say necessarily lectures, but there were some other cool things that were going on. Kind of like going to like a rent fair on some level.
They should get Nick. Nick can lecture anyone for hours.
Yeah, shield making 101.
Yeah.
But like I think that's cool about it. And I don't know, what the costs associated with that festival are and things like that. I can only speak to like what my personal experience was, and how what the things that I did. And again, I don't know if I did everything 100% right or what I did wrong, right? But all I just wanted to make sure that the bands got taken care of, that people had a good time, that the vendors didn't lose a fortune. I mean, I always check in with them. They said, "Hey, we had a blast. We had, if we didn't sell today, we'll sell tomorrow," and they were all good with all of it. So as long as no one left there with a sour taste in their mouth, I'm willing to take the loss. But then to do another one would be tougher, and I'd really have to get the I would really have to have some more guarantees as far as how things went for me to really want to dive into it again. And, maybe it's, a different venue. Maybe it is something, trying to do something outside of the box or incorporate some other type of musical style. I don't know. But as far as, Shadow Woods, I think is awesome. I mean, I bought a shirt. I've never been to it, but I mean, I have a shirt. And it's just because I wanted to make sure I try to support, even shows that I don't go to. I mean, I have tons of festival shirts of shows overseas and stuff like that, it's, again, I know how it is being on that side of it, and every dollar counts,
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
So Shadow Woods 5 is scheduled for the end of August. Tickets are $50 to $175. And instead of an address, they have latitude and longitude.
Hey, just like Blair Witch.
Yeah. Different county than Blair Witch, but it's the right state.
Yeah. So it's yeah, I mean, it's anyone who does it. I mean, I will give them all the props in the world, because it's not an easy thing to do. And again, I could take this festival, I could transplant it to wherever, and it could either be huge or it could do worse. You just never know. It's an impossible thing. But
all right, I think I figured it out. What you need to do is take the camping aspect of Shadow Woods and also move it to a big city.
There you go.
So you can camp out in Philly or in New York, or better yet, Trenton.
We'll set up
San Antonio Folk Metal Fest.
There we go.
We're going to set up a homeless encampment in Central Park in New York City. We'll just have a show.
Encampment.
Yeah, there we go.
It's I mean, I just hate to say it, but it's like, unless it's a European band, and I'd love to get let's say, like the shirt I'm wearing, this band from Sweden, they're called Utmarken. It's
Zintite.
I love them. Probably one of my favorite bands. I would love to have them come over here and play, but I just don't know if that would ever be a reality. Unless they're on the bill with a bigger band. Because again, I don't think a lot of smaller bands are going to take the chance, of trying to come over here and again not be able to get back home or lose a fortune doing it. But I don't know. I it's just it's hard to figure out what people, what the expectations are of and I have no problem taking criticism, like this wasn't right, we didn't like this or whatever. That's only going to make it better. But all the feedback I've gotten has been nothing but positive for the most part. So I mean, the only negative things, and I don't know if if this really was majorly on the radar or not. But I'd gotten accused at some point of being kind of a major, like a right-wing sympathizer. Again, I'm going to just say it, point blank. My show has no political affiliation with any group of any kind, or right-wing, left-wing, none of that stuff. If you're a cool band and you don't ask for an outrageous amount of money, chances are you'll probably be playing at the show, and just keep your politics at home. A lot of the bands that are really, super intent on being politically motivated are not really that great. Stick to playing music and don't worry about the message as much. Play music good first, and then you can decide what you want to talk about. But it always seems like everyone's just there to have a good time, no matter what. So,
yeah, and then that's that's why we play it.
Yeah,
it's fun, and
you guys get paid. You don't have to chase someone. Right. Looking for money. You can sell merch. You don't take a cut of the merch. Yeah. But it's just again, it's not an easy. Any band that gets out there and can do it and be successful at it. I mean, congrats, especially in this genre when you talk about folk metal, because it's not easy. It's not especially here in the United States. I mean, Europe, I think it's a lot easier. Just because geographically you're so much closer. I mean, you could be, you could go from France to Belgium to the Netherlands to Germany to Italy to Switzerland, all within a relatively short amount of time. But here, to play Baltimore and then to have to play in Raleigh, North Carolina or something like that. I mean, you're hundreds of miles. Right. So it's, just geographically, and it's nice too over there. I mean, kind of more set up to be a little easier, and there's just way more. I mean, the festival in Europe thrives over there. There's dozens of festivals, including ones that are just kind of more folk metal based, like Midgard's Blood is a big one that's kind of more folk metal based, and there's a few other ones in like Germany and things like Dark Troll. England has a couple of big festivals. So, they do well there because, again, geographically, I think it works too, because it's just, you could be in Germany and have a festival, and you could get people from Belgium, Netherlands, France, Italy, Switzerland, Austria, Poland. I mean, you'll pull from a much wider demographic.
I thought you were singing that Manowar song first.
Oh, absolutely. Oh boy. Yikes. Yeah, listing all the countries. Oh, we didn't even get to South America yet. Now, I've got a good Manowar story. If you don't mind, I'll tell you. When going back to Allentown, the Manowar used to play in Allentown all the time. So they were playing. It was the Kings of Metal tour. So this would have been '88, I guess, somewhere in there. And they had some, local opening acts. And they had this little snack bar in the back of the airport music hall. And I go back there. There's no one in there except for Eric Adams from Manowar standing there eating a corn dog on a stick.
I can vividly picture this.
And my jaw dropped. I'm like, holy shit, Eric Adams from Manowar. He's like, hey, what's up, dude? I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe you're standing here. He says, where else would I be? I'm like, I don't know. So I said, hey, I can't wait to see you guys. And he says, what are you doing? I said, I'm just hanging out. He says, come on upstairs with me.
What?
Now let's see, 1988. I'm 18 years old. I go upstairs. It's DeMaio, Scott Columbus, and Dave Schenkel, because that's when Ross the Boss had left.
Yeah, I was about to ask, because that must have been right after that guy joined.
Yeah, I mean, he was brand new to the band. They're handing me beers. I'm hanging out with Manowar for 2 hours, pounding beers with them. I am beyond wasted. And then they go out on stage and they play the show. and they blew the fuse box off the wall. Their encore was Wheels of Fire. And just as the first note plays, part, all the lights go out, and they say, "Oh, we did it again." Blew the fuse box. So took them 5 minutes, but then they went into the encore. But that used to be, that's the kind of fun you used to have. Like at shows was, oh my God, here's Manowar. Or, I'm drinking beers with Manowar for 2 hours. It was awesome. It was one of the best experiences I ever had. But all right, so that's my Manowar. I mean, I haven't really listened to them recently because there's too much of the keyboard, not enough of the bass. I don't know why when DeMaio just decided to become a keyboardist, but it just doesn't work for me.
So this is a very not metal anecdote. So when a friend of mine, she turned 17 or 18, I don't remember. So we went. I took her to see one of her favorite bands, which is the Cursive, they're like an indie rock band, and. So they come up on stage, and the front man, I believe his name is Tim K, was drunker than I've ever seen anybody in my entire life. So in between every song, he is a mess. He's just drunk gibberish just the entire time. You have no idea what he's talking about. And then he plays a song, and it's note for note perfect. He's the lead singer, so he's singing perfectly, remembers every line, hits every note on the guitar, and then the song ends and he's a mess again. It is the weirdest shit.
I've seen that too. Just Lords of the Drunken Pirate Crew. Everyone told me that their drummer was as drunk as they've ever seen anyone. And he went up there and he was playing blast beats for 45 minutes. I don't know how he was doing it.
Some people are just so functional in that state. It blows my mind.
Yeah, not me. Not me, I can tell you. You give me I don't really drink anymore, but I just become completely uncoordinated with almost anything. So yeah, to do that, that's like a recipe for disaster. I mean, to try to, play bass, stay on time, listen to, and then I forget it. I just can't do it. I don't, that's just me though. But
some people can really do it. I don't get it.
Yeah. Yeah, there are people that can do it, but I'm not one of them. Definitely not.
So that third folk metal fest, Pocono folk metal fest, I have two quick stories that have nothing to do with anything. First of all, that was the one Mark couldn't play.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so we had Sarah from Second Guard fill in.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought she did great.
She did awesome. She killed it, yeah.
Well, I think at the end she was like, sorry, I messed up so much. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Sarah is the best. I love Sarah. She's so awesome. I mean, seeing especially this time of year because of St. Patrick's Day, not maybe this year or last year, but traditionally, we're playing 4 shows today. I'm like, what? I'm like, then, I don't know how she does it, but I love her. She's just so awesome. I mean, I was shocked because I don't think I knew that Mark wasn't going to be there playing with you guys. Because I don't know if she got there at the same time. She got there early or something like that. And I don't know how I found out, but I kind of knew right before you guys were going on that she was going to be up there filling in. So I was like, wow, it was awesome to see. So
yeah, I think we had one rehearsal with her. We basically dumped a pile of sheet music on her.
That was also the one where we did our 17-minute long song.
That's right.
I say that all the time. I said, if you didn't come, you missed it. I said, figured you didn't get to see it. I've seen it live. You should have been there.
That song, it's like there's a huge vocal passage in the middle that I do, and it's just keeping all that straight is so difficult.
And it's also it's an odd guitar rhythm too.
Yeah. It's one of those things where you just have to completely detach your
right. Stop thinking about it. Yeah. It's like muscle memory.
Your hands from everything else. Yeah. And I don't think I've played it right ever since. And,
I was
so-
like, because I don't think, was that song even out at that point? Have you guys was that even released or anything at that point?
No.
Nope, no one had heard
No.
it.
That's why I was trying to remember, like, I was thinking about it after the fact. I'm like, I don't think that's even out. So it was like, that was like, again, that's what's, why you got to go to some of these live shows is like, you never know what to expect. And so that may be the only time you guys ever will play that live and people missed out on it,
Yeah, and I think Sarah didn't even have a recording, did she?
Well, I mean, we had, so Mark, so we have an in-ear situation going on.
Right.
And we actually, because Sarah had so little time to prepare, because she really jumped in like real close to the date and learned everything as much as possible. We gave her guide tracks
Right.
in her in-ears. And Mark did have guide tracks for that song. I remember that. So I don't know if that was for demo reasons, or if it was because we had already recorded it by that point. I don't, but
Well,
it
if there was
wasn't
a
out.
click, we definitely had the everything sequenced.
Oh yeah. Yeah, there was. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
So,
don't know how much was actually on that backing track.
Yeah, I don't remember either.
Yeah,
Well, I just remember, like, I was like, I mean, I don't know how many people know, like, your material that listen to the podcast, but I was like, you guys are playing Old Mead Hall, right? And she's like, no, I didn't have a chance to learn that. I'm like,
Oh, I felt so bad about that.
I'm like,
bad.
I mean, honestly, I think it's probably maybe one of the 10 best folk metal tracks of all time. I love that song. I'm not just blown. I love, especially the re-recorded version when you guys redid the EP.
Oh yeah, that was.
Oh my god, it just kills. The
That was
drumming on that just kills.
That was all Tim. Tim wrote most of that song.
I mean, there's times where, like, if you hear it one time, it's like you'll play it like 5 times in a row after that. Like, it just gets in your. It's like, oh, I love it so much.
That's one of the last times I wrote a violin part, because I wrote the violin part on the guitar.
Yeah.
And then when I showed it to them, they're like, "This is like impossible." No, they didn't say impossible. But it's one of those things that's easy on a guitar and very hard on a violin. And you know those guys, they're just like, "Oh yeah, I'll play it."
Yeah.
But they're not happy about it.
Yeah,
so
I'm trying to think
after that song, I stopped writing violin parts for the most part.
Well, I'm trying to think of, like, I can hear the part in my head. I'm just trying to think of imagining how you would play it on the guitar. So it's like I'm assuming it's. I mean, is it multiple strings? It's like an arpeggio sort of thing.
That is what it is. It's lots of string skipping, and it's just like inconvenient.
So
I think, well, the original tuning for it, because it wasn't originally in that tuning, if I recall correctly, and it was like more impossible then, or am I thinking of something else?
You might be. I'm not sure. I have a terrible memory, which is why this podcast helps, because I can just go back and listen to my own story and remember.
There was at least one, if not more, ISENMOR songs where violin parts were written, but they were in a convenient guitar tuning, but not in a convenient violin tuning. So, but it was like
said the guy who writes things in C# minor.
Oh yeah. Well, see, my problem with writing is that I make everything ridiculously dense, so everybody who mixes our shit hates me.
Oh, I hated you before I mixed it.
I was gonna. It has nothing to do with the music.
Yeah. Completely irrelevant.
Well, see, it's funny because, I from a bass point of view, I had a guitar teacher like in high school, and he would always teach me like really bizarre things. Not even necessarily like music theory stuff, but just like weird riffs and things like that. And, so I don't think my perception of the way the bass is supposed to be played is like anywhere close to anyone else's, because I don't really have like a strong music theory background. I just play, I tend to, I think I play it more like a guitar, at least from a, like a, I don't know, like chords and things like that. Like I like to play that kind of stuff and arpeggios. So it's like, I'm not as much of like a, I guess maybe I'd say I tend to want to be more of like a lead player, but I don't necessarily have the chops. So I kind of fall in a weird hole between, a guy that's in the pocket versus like a Billy Sheehan or something like that. I kind of fall in the, I like to play really weird chords and arpeggios and just do things that are like octaves, like, playing like the low string versus the higher string, that sort of stuff. So, it's, I know that there's a lot of challenges when it comes to like, playing things that make sense with everyone else that you're working with. Like I've written stuff with guys that I play with in Australia. I do a couple of music projects, and I'll send him like YouTube videos of me playing a song that I have in my head. I'll be playing it on bass, and I'll send him a YouTube video, and he'll text me back. He's like, "What the fuck are you thinking? There's no way anyone's ever gonna know how to play this. The song just doesn't make any sense." So he'll have to kind of try to morph it into something that makes, some sort of ability to be consumed by humans, because it doesn't make any sense. Because it's like kind of folk metal oriented stuff, or like we do. I've got so many weird projects I have. Like we have a porno grind. I don't know. That's another genre of music that is greatly underappreciated.
No, dude, that was what I used to listen to in high school. That sort of shit. That nasty, sloppy, gory shit.
Oh my God, it's fun. They'll write the stuff, and then I'll throw the bass on it, and then I'll kind of hear the finished product afterwards, and it's like, I can't believe I'm a part of this. It's like heinous. Some of the stuff is just so brutal, but it's fun to play. It's challenging,
What's your band's name?
Okay, Penetrated.
Nice.
So we put out a split. Guess it would have been last summer, maybe. Nah, maybe might have been before everything happened. Might have been in the spring. It was a split EP with Cuck Lord.
I found you. The League of Extraordinary Degenerates.
League of Extraordinary Degenerates. That was a lot of fun to do. But
we're gonna have to link all this stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's good fun stuff. Good for the kids. Good for the youth.
Oh, dude, I used to listen to. You heard of the band Fornicator?
Yeah.
Fornicator and Whore and all those, and it's like, I don't know. Now, especially now that I have children, it's like I don't know how I feel about listening to this anymore.
Daddy, put on Fornicator.
It's like, like he sent me. He had shirts printed, and I would never wear this shirt in public ever.
Oh God, yeah.
He says, "Dude, I'm sending you the shirt," and I had no idea what was on the shirt. And so I opened the package. It took like weeks from Australia, and the front it's got the logo. It's got the Penetrated logo. I'm like, awesome, and I flipped the shirt over. I can't even believe we're gonna say this. The back of the shirt says, "Always go ass to mouth." Oh, I said, "Okay, right in the closet." There we go. I was gonna find a spot right in the closet. It's never gonna see the light of day ever.
Oh,
but it's fun to play, and it's nothing serious. Going back to bass playing, it's like, it's kind of a love-hate thing. I don't have the time to really maybe elevate my playing, but I'm happy doing it. Like, I can still pick it up, and I still have the dexterity to play and stuff. And I can play most of the things that I want to. I love playing the Metallica stuff. It's the old Metallica stuff is always the most fun to play. And the old Maiden stuff. Like the newer Maiden doesn't really draw me in. But I know, with you guys with your discussion about Dream Theater from the other week. I'm a huge old Fates Warning fan, so I love playing those old Fates Warning songs, like anything off of Awaken the Guardian or Spectre Within. Those albums are just amazing albums. So that's what I tend to go to, is that or the Old Testament stuff, like, first couple albums. Those kind of bass players.
I love Old Testament. I have a guitar with the Souls of Black cover hand painted onto it. I didn't. Cool. I bought it used that way, and I'm afraid to play it now because that paint's been on there for 25, 30 years.
Yeah, you go.
I got it secondhand. The guitar was built in 1990, so I'm terrified to use it.
Well, that's that was the sound. I wanted that sound so bad, that Greg Christian, that poppy bass sound that he had back in the day. And I was he had an SWR amp, and I was, I was saving up forever for an SWR, and I finally got one. But then trying to find, he was an Ibanez player, and I could never find the right combination of Ibanez bass and SWR amp that would really sound like what he was doing. Except, do you remember back that they used to have the Ergodyne basses from Ibanez?
Yeah, that sounds familiar.
Well, they were it was like a molded plastic body or something like that. It was really weird. And they played great, but they smelled terrible.
Oh, yeah. I found a picture of one. Yeah, I remember those.
And he had, I think, an Ergodyne bass. And I remember, that was as close as I got to it. I'm still an Ibanez player. I think it's just a great all-around metal bass. I have the 7-string, the BDB's 7 now, which is a monster to play. It's not. I used to have a Conklin, which I sadly sold it. I wish I still had that, but
Conklins are beautiful. Beautiful instruments.
It's unbelievable. They're not making that series anymore. The Groove Tools, they used to make a version that was kind of an affordable version. But yeah, I ended up selling it a couple years ago. And I got this. I'm happy with it, but it's still not the same. And that's always been probably one of the most fun parts about music, is trying to find that sound that you want. Right. That's the pursuit of a lot of people I know, is just trying to find that sound.
Yeah, definitely.
We could go if we started talking about 80s thrash, we could be on here for hours, because that's
I think we're already on part 3.
Excellent. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, this series of episodes will come out over the course of a month, I think.
That's all right. Hey, take the month off.
That's right.
It'll give me time to recover from surgeries.
Oh yeah, Mike's having a new face put in, kind of like that Nick Cage and John Travolta movie. Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
I'm sorry I spoiled your secret, Mike, that you're getting a new face.
Oh man.
And his face came off.
So Tim is only partially joking. I'm getting jaw surgery.
Really?
Oh yeah. So they're going to bring my upper jaw forward and maybe my lower jaw back a bit. It's going to be horrific. It's like
he's going to be able to open bottles just by kind of jam it under the teeth.
It's like an 8-week recovery time.
That sounds excruciating. This is soon.
Yeah, and let's see. The 20th, it's April. Well, okay, I'm going to date the episode, but it's April 13th. This is my surgery.
Wow.
See what happens.
I hope everyone had a good Valentine's Day, and I'm looking forward to St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah.
Wow, good luck. Gosh, that sounds serious. I hope it's...
it's... well... I don't know how relevant this is to the podcast.
It's not, but we're on episode 3. So.
Yeah, it's my teeth.
Part 3.
My teeth don't fit together at all. So there's 2 teeth in my mouth which touch when I close my mouth. So that'll fix. This will fix that.
Wow.
Basically,
I could just come over with a claw hammer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or you could just take up hockey.
Right. Use more straws.
Yeah. Oh, dude.
There you go.
They I had to go in for the pre-surgical consult, and they're like, "Here's what you're going to be eating out of for the first week," and it's like a fucking syringe.
Oh, yum.
So I'm gonna have it's like you just kind of like wiggle it into your mouth.
You're going to listen to this episode while you're recovering, and you're going to have blood shooting out of your sewn together mouth.
It's going to be amazing. Dude, I was awake for my wisdom teeth removal, and I was listening to Sepultura's Arise the entire time. Like, so they gave me like nitrous, and they're like, this will, you'll be fine. You won't care. So they give me the nitrous, and I've uncharacteristically for folk metal, I've never been drunk or inebriated or anything like that. Right?
That's right. Sometimes the old meat hall is a lie. For Mike, at least. Mike's the bouncer. He's working the door.
So they give me the nitrous, and I'm like, oh, this will be fine. It's totally cool. And then they start operating for the wisdom teeth removal, and I'm like, this is not fine. Terrible.
I'm not having fun here.
No, it's like I'm, listening to Max Cavalera just like shred. It's like, okay, this is cool. And I open my mouth every now and then, and I see the doctors like trying to rip teeth out. It's like,
yeah,
eyes again.
They got their foot on your chest to get leverage.
It was a very unceremonious procedure to see from the first.
Yeah, there's no artistry in it at all.
No, it's very
just get down to it.
You just crush teeth and get them out.
Oh, that's the worst.
What if this surgery is just a ploy to put your wisdom teeth back in?
Oh, that'd be a long con. It's a long con.
That's great. Oh God,
like 19 years and put them back.
They've been sitting in a jar somewhere.
Finally, my machinations come to fruition.
This is why I got into dentistry.
Because he seems to really care about his patients.
Oh, Jesus.
That's what they just got done with those microchips that are going in. The tracking devices.
Oh, God. Yeah, maybe I'm second guessing my surgery now. I don't know.
I can't make it. I'm busy. Wow. Well, good luck with that. That's just wow.
I'm morbidly fascinated by how awful it will be.
Yeah.
You want me to film it? I'll film it for you.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, no, I'll just take some selfies. Where apparently my face is going to swell up. It's going to be great.
We'll use it for artwork for the Porno Grind band. We'll start.
Absolutely. Okay. Yeah,
we're
gonna
where we all play bass.
Just different pitch shift.
You heard it here first.
Oh, boy.
So my other Pocono Folk Metal Fest 3 story, which pales into comparison to the
oral surgery.
Is so Fiacra and I go way back.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah. So like forever ago, my other band, Burning Shadows. Sorry, one of my other bands. Sorry, all the other bands. We went down to Atlanta to play Pathfinder Metal Fest 5, and Fiacra was there. And that was the first time we had met them as Fiacra. But before that, there were another band called Hexen, and we played a fest in New Jersey with them.
Right.
And I think Ross the Boss headlined that fest.
Oh. And
so we're in Atlanta, and we see these guys. I'm like, they look familiar. Who are, and I was like asking Greg, who was the lead guitarist at the time. He's like, I know those guys. Why do I know those guys? So we eventually figured it out. And ever since then, Fiacra's been around forever. Burning Shadows has been around forever. So every time we get, we cross paths all the time. It's always great to see them. But Matt Wheeler, I forget when this started, but he'd always have a new jug of something. So he ambushed me in the parking lot at Pocono Folk Metal Fest 3. I think it was some kind of mead. I forget if he made it or bought it.
I remember it because I think I had some of that.
I remember this.
Because they opened on Saturday.
Yes.
And I think it must have been Saturday afternoon because I don't think they hung around later in the show, but I remember... And I don't really drink, but I remember taking a swig of something from some... And I just remember it was like, I remember like I had to blink a few times to make sure I was still awake.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That was it.
You never know how hard it's going to hit until it hits.
Yeah,
and
15 seconds, like a delayed reaction, yeah.
Well, the other problem is every time I run into him, we got to catch up.
Yeah.
So there's more than a sip.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, it's good times.
No?
And me and Matt are long overdue on getting together again.
He lives near, I haven't seen him since the show, but I know he lives somewhere here in the Lehigh Valley. I don't know where. I mean, I just don't, I don't really get a chance to see people, or I'll text people and stuff like that and just say what's up and all that, but it's tough to, try to stay connected unless it's things like festivals or shows. So, I think a lot of people have been very, he's just been like in hibernation mode for a year.
Yeah, well, just all the more reason to come to Pocono Folk Metal Fest 4.
That's absolutely right. But it's like weird because, like, my wife's a teacher. She's been teaching from home. The kids are all virtual. My kids are learning from home. But I work in pharmaceuticals and wholesale. And the last year has been like the longest of my life. That's why, like yesterday, I couldn't believe how, I don't know if you want to call it psychic or not, but it was just a bad day yesterday at work. Just, machines breaking down. So, we have a huge distribution hub and, but yeah, we're like in the middle of all this. with all the COVID stuff and all that. And, we don't shut down. So it's like,
yep.
Yeah, just getting back to like a return to normalcy is going to be just amazing. Just for sanity's sake, because it's like, I like to do a lot of traveling and stuff like that. I haven't been able to do any of that, and just doing simple things like going to the store. It's like a big production. Where's my mask?
Right.
Oh my God, stay away from me. Don't cough.
Yeah.
It's been brutal. So.
Or if someone's walking towards you and you don't want them to, then start coughing.
Oh, absolutely. Well, the thing too is now that the shots are vaccines available, now it's trying to get it. Now it's like, my wife thankfully was able to get one last week, and now it's like, she's got me on a list or whatever. But yeah, it's just just from a year ago, like just how times have just changed, and you just don't know how things are ever gonna play out. So
well, by the time this airs, everyone will have theirs, I'm sure.
Oh,
definitely.
Hopefully, the way the things are going. I think what they're talking about May, everyone's going to have it. So
yeah, it's trending up at least. Well, I think this will be out in May, so we can check.
We'll go back and we'll review the footage and see for sure.
Right. All right. Well, I think we've hit all the points I wanted to hit. Mike, did you have anything extra you wanted to hit?
Not particularly. No,
I should add the caveat in this episode because we have a whole other subject we need to talk to Jeff about in another series of episodes.
Okay. No, I can't think of anything else.
All right, Jeff, did you want to add anything?
Yeah, first I want to thank both of you for having me on. It's been a blast. I'm glad that we could catch up for a little bit. Yeah, as far as the festival goes, I still am posting things on there, information about bands that have played in the past.
the page I had it here is it's the Facebook page is Pocono folk/pagan/Viking Metal Fest. That's the one you want to follow.
Yeah. No, don't look at the other ones. Those are all they're all fake phonies. So I'm still posting information. What's nice too is like recently a lot of people have found the page, and I don't know what they're looking for or what they're finding, but or how they're finding it. But I just seen a bunch of likes on the page recently, so which is encouraging too. I'm not going to say it's never going to not happen. I mean, if things work out, I think I would probably do some different things. But I don't see it happening this year. I think next year would be the best, possibility of shooting for another one. And then it's just a matter of, who, where, when, all that sort of stuff. So, just take, like the Facebook page, and then any news and all that. There will be an event page that would come up, and all that sort of stuff. So just keep your eyes peeled. For everyone who's been to the festival, anyway, all the bands that have played it, thank you all the vendors, all the volunteers, and everyone who's helped with it. Thank you so much for all your help over the years, and hopefully we'll get to do it again soon.
Thanks for listening to Podcast Them Down. You can find Burning Shadows, ISENMOR, and recently vacated graves on Bandcamp, as well as Facebook, along with Fade to Black Metallica Tribute and Podcast Them Down itself. Until next time, keep it metal.